So over the past month or so, Minecraft has uploaded a handful of very interesting videos on their YouTube channel. This video right here, and then most recently, this one right here. Each one of these videos seems to be part of a new series, if you will, featuring none other than Jeb and Agnes themselves. Into this new series, Narrator, which is basically Mojang's big bad villain, tries to break into Mojang and usually find out information about how to do something, whether it be make a new dimension, make a new biome, or maybe even make an entirely new Minecraft game that will end Minecraft forever. You know, just the normal type of stuff that you talk about on any given Thursday. Now, each and every one of these videos is actually quite juicy. In fact, we talked all about this one in a different video. But this relatively brand new one, titled So You Want to Rule a Game Universe, uploaded on November 30th, is particularly juicy. From how Mojang decides what to add to the game next, to what they won't add to their long-term plan, a little bit, for Minecraft, let's talk about it. And now this video kicks off in standard fashion for this little series, where we have a narrator trying to break into Mojang HQ, and then, thanks to his ingenious disguise, well, he actually doesn't. Within the first minutes of this video, we get a glimpse at narrator's journal, which will reveal his big ultimate plan. So, find out how to trap players in the Minecraft universe, so everyone has to hang out with me. What is this, like Minecraft Movie Core or something? Is the first thing it made me think of. Now, when talking about new updates and what they like to add, Agnes stated that they always try to find something for the player to do or find. They always add something for the player to do or find is quite interesting and actually perfectly fitting for all of the updates that we've seen added to the game this year. Pretty much every single one of these things that was added is something brand new to go out into your world and find, or birth, raise, caretake, I don't know. Other than pretty much the copper golem, which I guess you could say all of these features are also something to do as well. But the copper golem isn't really much of a find thing, it's a little bit more of a do thing. But quite intriguingly, while Agnes was talking all about this, they showed off a structure, none other than the Woodland Mansion. So when talking about do or find, I mean, yes, I'm sure mobs definitely fit into that category because, hey, bro, get back here. Because, I mean, well, yeah, they already do, but in the direct context of what was shown in that video, I believe she was more so talking about adventures to do or find, meaning a structure like the Woodland Mansion, maybe the Trial Chamber, or even the Ancient City. A great recent example of a Mojang's theory of doing or finding would be the Pale Garden biome. And not only do you have to go out into your world and find this thing, giving you a brand new task, but then, once you do find it, and hopefully you found one a little bit larger than this one, once you do end up finding one of these things in the dead of nighttime and nighttime only, you've got a brand new task, something to actually do inside of this biome that is quite different compared to everything else in the entire game. Now, of course, we know how Mojang likes to do. We need to keep it in mind in the back burner today that the devs love to drop subtle little hints that in current day will often feel completely random and we'll actually miss them, but then hindsight, it's 2020 and it was right in front of our faces the whole time. Take, for example, this summer, July 17th, Minecraft Java 1.21.8. This was before we even began the copper dropper, and here at the top of the article for this update, we've got a screenshot with a zombie horse in the game. They were literally placing the hint right in front of our face. The Pale Garden biome fits Mojang's MO exactly perfectly. A structure, well, that's the same vibe. With how long it's now been since Mojang has added a new structure, could this be a subtle little clue as to what's to come next? Like always, maybe. Speaking of what's to come next, did you know that I always am cooking up more videos for you truly? This holiday season is the perfect time to consider subscribing. We're chugging along on that road to 2 million and I need your help for the milestone. So consider subscribing and definitely tap like. It always helps me out big time. Now, when talking about things that could be added to Minecraft and maybe not, one of the big guiding principles that Mojang has is whatever is added to the game, it has to react to the players. So, for example, the heartwarming moment when I walk up to this cow and maybe it decides to take a look at me or walk right by me because it doesn't care about me, whatever, well, yeah, that's definitely reacting to me. This is a very interesting principle that I don't believe we have ever heard about before in the long history of Minecraft. But it is one of those things where if we think about it a little bit, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, when Mojang adds a new mob, at least for the most part, they don't want to make that mob completely ignore the player. It needs to interact with us in some way. But like a sheep eating grass or other mobs blowing up your world, there is even more that the devs try and do with a new mob when they're adding it to the game. intelligence, IQ. Earlier on this year, the Copper Golem is pretty much the perfect example of this one right here. We can take a mob that exists in the world and walks around, maybe just looks at you and contributes pretty much nothing else. Well, yeah, Mojang could definitely add that to the game, but instead, whenever possible, Mojang will also try and consider the IQ or intelligence of the mob. In other words, this mob's purpose or personality, in order to, you know, try and give the mob a little bit more life, being, intrigue. So something like the Copper Golem, for example, it has this whole smart functionality of going into chests, looking for things, then putting things in other chests, and, you know, trying to interact with the world and actually help you out as you're doing things. This right here is the perfect example of Mojang trying to add mobs that have intelligence to the game. Mobs that'll actually add something to your world in a completely different way. And again, all while still interacting with the player. Our Copper Golem interaction here, of course, when the player puts something inside of a chest, the Copper Golem will interact with us through that chest and then try and store things for us. It's quite beautiful. Ah, who did this? Poor little buddy. He's getting a workout. Man, I feel bad for him. And then our third and final rule for mobs, at least given to us in that video, is mobs need to interact with their environment and adapt to it in some kind of way. Now this one, it almost feels like the exact principle of the Spring to Life update. But this one does go much farther back. For example, the Enderman interacting with the environment, adapting to it, and taking blocks away. I think that's what Mojang was talking about. If a mob can adapt to its environment in some sort of way, maybe even without the player, then that makes the mob all that much better. Oh my god, I think I found the most beautiful mountain in the world, guys. Dude, that thing is insane. Now, next up here, aside from the creeper, Mojang has revealed a couple of more things that they will never add. That was a joke about the creeper, guys. Don't worry. Now, funnily enough here, there's a little spin-off game called Minecraft Blast, and interestingly, inside of Minecraft Blast, there's a pirate inside of the game, and a whole lot of other stuff, but a pirate inside of the game. When it comes to things Mojang won't add, well, they actually said, word for word, that they will not be adding pop culture references to the game. So that means something like pirates, no flippin' way. But villagers living on the sea, maybe pillagers, that could definitely come to the game. When adding new things to the game nowadays, Mojang tries to not add just direct pop culture references, which is quite funny, because what do you think a zombie is? What do you think a skeleton is, right? That's kind of pop culture. I think pretty much a perfect example of Mojang's MO here is something like the husk. I mean, for the longest time, this is like basically our variant of a mummy in the game, except it's not just straight up a mummy. Even more brand new, we now have the parched as well, which actually kind of gets us even closer to the mummy with the whole rap thing going on, but it's still definitely not just a straight up growling, reaching mummy. Another example Mojang used is the hot dog, a direct pop culture reference. Hot dogs, they will probably not come to the game as well. This is a sad day for the glizzy community worldwide. I know, man. I know. Moving on in this video, we get to a very interesting part of it where they talk about adding dimensions to the game and what they try and do when they add a new one to it. Their big guiding principle here is that the overworld is like peaceful and nice, and then the other dimensions, they should add some kind of a new, different survival challenge. When adding things to any dimension, the devs try and create clues to well, what they call bigger meaning. And a most simple example, what I can think of is something like maybe an ocean ruin or a shipwreck here. With things like ocean ruins in the game, we're left to question and wonder, like, well, what the heck does this thing actually mean? Like, where did it come from? Who built it? Or, in the case of a shipwreck, what the heck happened to this thing? How did it get wrecked and flipped, turned upside down? Was it a Nautilus? Was it something else? What the heck? The developers try and add things to the game, but then leave a lot of open ends. You know, things that we can fill in inside of our world with a little bit of spicy lore. One of the most intriguing parts of this video right here, it was Agnes talking about how Mojang actually does updates here. We get a little bit of an insight to Mojang HQ, and then we learn that many updates, well, that actually begin with joke ideas. According to Agnes, while the devs brainstorm, the start to many good updates actually begins with simple little jokes. The devs may be talking about wanting to add something to the game, like, for example, maybe a flying mob that the player could jump on and ride around. With that idea in mind, the devs might take a look at what they already have in the game, like, let's say, the gas, and then maybe somebody makes the joke that, hey, maybe it's sad because the players can't ride it. What if the player was riding a gas, and then all of a sudden, it got happy from the interaction, and voila! You've got yourself a brand new update. That's just sort of my imagination of how the Happy Gas came to be, at least. The developer's direct example here was the Suspicious Stew. Back in 1.14, when they were adding the Lily of the Valley to the game, the devs wanted to communicate to the player in some way that flower is insanely poisonous. Which, I didn't even realize this. I planted a ton of them in my garden IRL, so, whoops, I guess. So they were adding the Lily of the Valley to the game, then one of the devs joked about, hey, what have you added? Suspicious Stew. And then you can put the flower in the stew, and then it poisons you. Fast forward to nowadays, and you wait a second. Does a Lily of the Valley one actually, oh my god, poison you? Oh, no way it does. Whoa. That was a mad-sounding guess, right? Another big thing Mojang said they like to do is take a look at the feedback website. When trying to cook up new ideas for updates, they like to involve the community, especially now more than ever before. So Mojang will slide over to the feedback website and take a look at things like maybe the Happy Gas being too slow and consider to add that to the game. It's all jokes and feedback, laddie. Got it. Now, this could be reading between the lines a little bit here, but one thing, interestingly, that they didn't really say is anything about rotating themes anymore. It seems that maybe the era of rotating themes for updates and what to add, that might be gone, or it's just a principle that didn't really end up fitting into the video's narrative. Now, quite beautifully, this video ends with a wonderful quote from Jeb saying, they don't think anybody ever stops playing Minecraft. They just take prolonged breaks. Eventually, you will come back to Minecraft, and the devs will be there. There's been a little bit of confusion over what's going on with Minecraft over the past year or so with the various statements from the devs. You know, one of them pointing towards maybe 15 years in the future, a different one pointing towards 30. And now Jeb says that the developers in Minecraft will always receive updates, and the game will always be there for you. It's actually quite a beautiful note to end this video, and I love the way the devs think about it. You don't ever stop playing. You just have your phases. If you could add any update to Minecraft right now, what would you add? Thank you all for watching today's little video. Hope you thought it was cool, interesting, you enjoyed it. Hey, as a side note, I have big plans for 2026. I'm so excited to continue streaming and, in our little survival world, evolve this place, level it up even more. And I'm working on some new plans for channel members as well. So consider tapping that join button today. I'll see you tomorrow. Good night, everybody.